Hi, my name is Bryana Langford. My favorite playwriter is James Lapine, mainly because he was in part of writing Into the Woods, which is one of my favorite musicals because of how creatively the characters from all of these different classics that are unrelated are intertwined together so that they create a very well written play. I love the plot. There's many twists that I honestly enjoyed, and the soundtrack is amazing. Again, this is one of my favorite plays of all time, and I love the person who created it. One of my biggest interests in drama is the fact that everybody has their own little part to play. So the leads, the ensemble, the featured dancers, stage crew, and stagecraft, and the sound crew, they all have their own parts to play to make the play an amazing show. What I love the most is that I'm working hard, my castmates are working hard, everybody's working hard, and when we finally perform in front of the audience, they enjoy it, we get positive feedback, and that's just what makes drama great is the positive feedback that we get. And yeah, we take the critics, but we also like the positive feedback. Other than performing, I'd say my biggest interest in drama would be my work with everybody on the team, on in the cast. I love how we pull everything together really well. My experience over the past 2 years in drama, I have been in forensics since the seventh grade. I'm currently in forensics and I will be continuing forensics into my senior year. One of the things that is intertwined with drama with forensics is words and music and Reader's Theater. Words and music being a 5 to 9 minutes little dancing, singing song from a musical that we just choreograph together and we perform for an audience, which really improves our singing skills. And Reader's Theater is just something that we put together that we want to convey to audience, whether it's political or social. It's something that's important to us and it requires lots of blocking, facial expressions, a lot of coordinated movements that's very strict but also really fun to do. My sophomore year is when I started doing the poetry event, which is where I could convey the proper emotions that the poet is trying to convey to her audience, which I'm trying to convey to my audience, which also means that I would have to embody the character altogether, which is really a task to do, but it's necessary in order to embody the right character, and it honestly disciplines me. Also, as a sophomore, that is when I officially was allowed to start theater at high school. Um, though in the musicals, I've mainly been the ensemble. It's really been, it's really given me the full theater experience. Again, as I've said, everybody's working hard. We're all trying our best to pull off a really good show, and it's just a really wonderful experience. In the straight plays, I've had two major roles, one this year and one last year. Last year I was Tituba in The Crucible. This year I was Imogene Herdman in The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. Both roles really made me step outside of my box on what performing was and how to block and how to put forth like the character's emotions, and it was really amazing. One of my dream roles is Janice from Mean Girls, mainly because she's just a really blunt, down to earth character, and I feel like we're just twins, and that I could play that role very well. But one role that I think that I would have to step outside my box in order to play is Magenta from Rocky Horror House. She's just this outgoing, very extroverted character, lovey-dovey on people, and I'm not that person, so I think it would be a task to become that character, but I also think that Magenta is a really fun character. So the piece that I will be doing is a monologue from In the Time of the Butterflies by Julia Alvarez. I will be embodying the character of Minerva Marable. In this context of the monologue, Minerva just found out about her father's infidelity and how he's been cooping her up just to keep her from having an education or just experiencing the world in general. I know the rumor that has been started once I've been living at home a few years, that I didn't like men. I mean, of course, I didn't really pay attention to the ones around here, but it's not because I didn't like men. I just didn't know I was looking at what I really wanted. For one thing, my nose was always in a book. Love was something that I read would come. And the man that I love would be like poet in a frontispiece, sad and pale with a pen in his hands. And for another thing, Papa discouraged relationships. I was his treasure, he'd say, patting his lap as if I was a little girl in a jumper and not a woman of 23 in the slacks that he opposed me wearing in public. Papa, I'd say, I'm too old for that. One day, he offered me anything if I would just sit on his lap. Just come over here and whisper it in my ear, he said, his voice a little thick from drinking. So I went in and I swooped my prize. I want to go to the university. Papa, please. Now, he said, as if I was just all worked up about something. You wouldn't want to leave your old papa now, would you? But Papa, you have Mama, I argued, but his face just went blank. Maria Teresa is off at school. Dede is newly married, and Patria is twice the mother. Yet here I am sitting on my father's lap as a grown woman. Your mother and I, he said, we need you more than ever. I blamed Papa for everything. His young woman, his hurting Mama, his cooping me up while he went gallivanting around. So minutes later, I took off in that Jeep without a word to Mama. And what was I gonna tell her? I'm gonna go find my good-for-nothing father and drag him back? And I knew where he was. Now that Papa was doing so well, he had gotten a new car, his brand new Jeep. And I knew damn well he wasn't reviewing the field if he had brought his Ford instead of his Jeep, so I took that car straight to the yellow house. And the four little girls looked up at me, startled. After all, the man that they've always expected was already in the house, with his car parked in the back so that it wouldn't be seen from the road. So I turned into the dirt path, and I crashed into that Ford, making the window shatter and the bumper curl. And then finally I came down on that horn until the man that I wanted was outside, shirtless and furious. What do you want? He screamed. He returned home with his face drawn with anger. And he ate his food in silence, as if the review of the fields just didn't go too well today. Just to make my mom not so suspicious, I held my head for a headache and excused myself from the table. But minutes later, I heard Papa's knock on my door. I want to see you outside. His voice was more commanding, even through that door. So I washed my face and combed my hair back and went outside to meet Papa. He took us down the dirt path, past the now dented Ford, and into the dark garden. He turned around and looked at me. With his shrinking and my height, we were now eye to eye. And there was no warning. His hand slammed into the side of my face like it never did on any part of my body. And I staggered back, more shocked at the idea of him hitting me than the pain that was exploding in my head. That ought to teach you that you ought to owe your father some respect. I don't owe you a thing, I said, my voice more commanding than his. You have lost my respect. And I saw his shoulders droop, and I heard him sigh, and it hit me harder than his slap. I was way stronger than Papa. Mama was way stronger than Papa. He was the one who would have to live with his poor decisions in life, not us. Because he was the one who needed our love. Thank you.